collection of high school memorabilia from Elk Grove High School. What you're seeing now is the complete selection of the class of '65 senior photos. You're now seeing a chart of the class officers for the class of '65 through 4 years, showing the different positions and who held them in a chart form for 4 years, all the class officers. Next, we're seeing the actual diploma and a copy of the cover of the diploma. It's a padded cover, and then next to it's the actual diploma, which was inside as it was handed to you on the stage. Then we have a copy of the baccalaureate program, which is a religious connotation to the graduation and is generally held before the actual commencement exercises. And then we pan on to the actual commencement program, which lists all the program speeches, so forth, and a total listing of the class members in the commencement program. Here we're looking at a memorial that the Elk Grove High School class of '65 has made to their deceased classmates. We've added the names over 5 reunions now at the 20th and the 30th and the 40th, 45th, and 50th. And so we have a total of 66 names on there at this time, and we are adding names as we learn of them. But this is a memorial to our deceased classmates, the class of '65, and there are now 66 that we know of. With the Elk Grove High School class of '65's memorial plaques to their deceased members, we have a cross-selection of some of the obituary biographies. In particular, we have our foreign exchange student, Peter Gibson, who is from Scotland, and he accomplished quite a bit over there and had a very big write-up in the newspaper. We have several others that were written up. They had done a lot of things, the newspapers covered them, and then we have some that were the actual memorial programs that showed photos and gave biographies. We also have here a total list of our classmates, and in the yellow are the ones that are deceased that are on the plaque that we had just seen. But these are just a token selection of ones we happen to have that show photos and big write-ups for the Elk Grove class of '65. In addition to the senior year foreign exchange student, Peter Gibson from Scotland, who the class of '65 sponsored, our freshman year, the freshman foreign exchange student was Carlos, and he was from Spain. Our sophomore year, we had Michael Geyer, he was from Germany, and our junior year, the foreign exchange student was Helen Alon from the Philippines. So these were the first 3 years of exchange students, and then Peter was our senior year, and unfortunately is deceased. Here you're viewing a sample of memorabilia from the Elk Grove High School class of '65. On the left case, we have the 4 years of the yearbooks, freshman through senior. The last 3 years, because of publication deadlines, a supplement was mailed out in the summertime to everybody who had purchased a yearbook. But it was basically the spring sports and spring activities that didn't make it in time for the publication of the yearbook, and they were mailed at a later date. In the center case here, we have examples of 2 wine glasses that were commemorating various reunions. On the right, the 30th reunion was done in conjunction with another class, so the logo for each of the 2 classes are on either sides of the glass. So shown here are the 2 sides of the same glass with 2 different year logos. On the left is a single class commemorative wine glass of the class of '65 at the 40th reunion. 2 different logos on the side of the glass, but same class. so both sides of the glasses are shown. On the bottom we have the 4 years of the literary magazine through our 4 years of school. And in the middle we have various discs, the 40th reunion, those are still pictures. The middle one is a video of the 45th reunion, and on the right is a CD of the total yearbook of our yearbooks. So if a person lost theirs, they can obtain this disc and look at the entire yearbook. The right case are various publications and items that commemorate the year 65. We noticed two little birth year type of pamphlets that list all of the events happening in that year. Most people use them for birth year. However, we're using them for our graduation year. Also is a small wallet calendar from Santa Fe Railroad with the year 65. A book written in the 70s about the class of 65 as a cultural overlook. On the bottom we have the book the Elk Grove School District put out commemorating their 50th anniversary. On the left are the emblems that were on a songster's outfit, and the outfit didn't live, but the emblems did. And those are just examples of some of the memorabilia the class of 65 has been involved in. Shown here are examples of the Elk Grove High School logo being used on t-shirts, sweatshirts, and PE shirts. The first 5 shirts that you'll be seeing here are not associated with the Elk Grove class of 65. These have been issued since then, generally in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. And the first one is an example of a PE shirt where you put your name. More than likely this one was sold to the fans, as was this one also. That I think fans bought them and they helped raise money for the team. The fourth shirt is a track and field shirt, more than likely used by the people on the track team. And the fifth non-associated shirt, or non-associated with class of 65, is another t-shirt, which is a PE shirt, where you put your names. Then we start with actual issues of clothing that were directly associated with the class of 65. The blue shirt here that you see was the shirt the class of 65 issued at their 20th reunion. At their 30th reunion, they had this sample, which is the same as this 30th reunion, showing the back of the shirt and the front of the shirt. So the logo was two-sided. This piece here, a hooded sweatshirt, it was actually a presentation piece and wasn't really sold or issued, but had the same logo features as the t-shirt, front and back. Then we move on to a custom cross-country sweatshirt. One of the runners on the team, class of 65, Lon Goddard, a known artist, did his own cross-country team shirt, and the coach being Glenn Winter. Lon called the thing Winter's Winners. And then we have an example of Elk Grove High, number 13. This was a track, a warm-up sweatshirt. And then we have the logo that was used for the 30th and 40th reunion, and is the felt backdrop that they used to do the printing. And then on the last one is an example of the t-shirt from the 40th reunion of the class of 65. Shown here are some examples of more Elk Grove High School class of 65 memorabilia, more on the female side of things. First we have a dress that was worn at senior ball in 1965. Janet Brown, one of our high school class members, saved her dress, both junior and senior years, this being the senior ball dress, and there's matching shoes, which we will see in a moment. Shown next is the flag bearer outfit, and you'll notice that the tasseled boots came in their original box of majorette boots. So they were a specialty item, and here we have the actual boots and actual box. The top of the outfit and the bottom, and you'll see the picture of our classmate Janet Brown in her outfit 50 years ago. She also did this their junior year. Next we have one of the blue t-shirts, the Elk Grove Herd. Students could buy it. They wore them to gym class, wore them other places, and it was a popular item at the time. Next we have a block type of EG blanket. This is Girls Athletic Association. This is also Janet's. All of these items are. You'll know she had field hockey insignia and a lot of the various pins that were issued, and the block EG Girls Athletic Association block, which is similar to the boys block EG. Next we have a yellow sweatshirt, which was used by some of the students in their gym classes, or they wore them out in public. And to round out the long dresses, this is Janet's junior prom dress, and the one we saw at first was her senior ball dress. And these are the pair of shoes that she wore both years. These all belong to Janet Brown and Elk Grove High School class of '65. Here are some examples of other Elk Grove High School logos on various items. First item on the right is a pennant from Elk Grove High School, and it was in the early 2000s that this would have been issued. But showing the evolution and through the years of the various Elk logos, but this being quite current and 55 years past class of '65. Here is a ribbon the class of '65 won in their senior year for the best float at homecoming. And here is a Florin Elementary School pennant, and the reason the elementary school pennant is here is there were 7 elementary schools that fed into the high school district, and some of the various elementary schools produced their own logo. Here on the left we have the Elk Grove High School 30th reunion tablecloth. These were put on the various, it's a plastic material used for tablecloths, and we saved one with the logo. And you'll notice various elk impersonations on these various items. Below and on the right, we have a bleacher seat cushion. It was put out by the Future Farmers of America, FFA, Home Field Advantage, probably a money-raising event, but providing cushions for the hard wooden seats at the bleachers. Next item, we have the 50th anniversary wine label by the class of '65. They had their own wine produced or obtained, and then provided their own labels on the bottle. In early 2000s, various businesses around town were issuing various sport water bottle type of things, and this having the Elk Grove logo on it, Thundering Herd. In the back, continuing to the left, an example from circa 40s, 50s of a binder with the Elk Grove logo stitched on the side here, but we aren't sure of an exact date. In the back, one of the classmates, the class of '65, Harlan Maida, has his own Maida insurance, and we're giving out various and sundry items to their clients. And this being a candy dispenser, and the top comes off, you keep your candy or whatever. Across the front we have 5 hats, all with various Herd Elk Grove logos on it. The 2 on the left, or the 2 on the left here were circa 2002, and the 3 on the right are unknown circa dates, but you might notice the various ways that they used the elk logo and the thundering herd logo. These are just assorted samples, various years of memorabilia. Shown here are some examples, or 3 examples, of Letterman sweaters from the Elk Grove High School. Unfortunately, due to the timing and people having to leave town, we had several more items, but they've already been returned to their owners. On the right, we have a non-class of 65 Letterman sweater showing the similarities from 5 years before. Class of 70, and then we have 2 Letterman sweaters from the class of 65 present. We had several others, but these 2 are 2 of the star athletes of the class of 65. In the center here was Jada Wall, who is the most decorated sweater from our class and probably many other classes. Star long distance runner. And on the next one to the left here is our star pole vaulter and long distance runner, Ted Walton. And you can see that the stripes on the sweaters represent how many years they received varsity letters. You'll notice some of the insignias and stuff involved in various sports, whether it be in track or cross country or football or tennis. The little insignias put on the blocks indicate which sport the letter was earned in. On the left is kind of an esoteric item. At one time in the late 50s, perhaps early 60s, that circa of time, this was a football jersey. And by the time the class of 65 became freshman and sophomore, this was a practice jersey for the then football team, but had been an active jersey early 60s, late 50s. We aren't sure about that. But these are just some more examples of the memorabilia from the class of 65.